Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the many different warbands in Age of Sigmar Warcry. We're going to take a look at all the fighters available to this warband, what they do on the tabletop, the abilities the warband has, and how to build a foursome on the tabletop as well. Along with this we'll look at some interesting ally options as well for the warband. In today's video, we're going to take a look at getting started with Warcry for the Kruleboyz, using the Bladeborn warband Daggok Stab Ladz, one of the many Warhammer Underworlds warbands able to be used in Warcry. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. Leave Your Bleeding is a double ability for Jags the Bleeder. A fighter can only use this ability if an enemy fighter has been damaged by an attack this activation, and for each wound inflicted upon them you roll an additional 4+ and allocate another damage point to the enemy you do this on. Hook in Your Guts is a double ability that Grip the Hook can use for a double until the end of the battle round. If an enemy fighter makes a disengage action near them, you can allocate 6 damage points to that enemy. Roar of Kragnos is a triple ability for Herc the Howler. You can use this ability, and until the end of your battle round, you can add one to the attack characteristic of melee attack actions made by nearby visible friendly fighters. Lastly, we have a quad, Steel in Your Finks, and this can be used by Daggok. The warband's leader can use this ability, and he can only use this if an enemy fighter has been taken down by him this activation. You gain a number of wild dice equal to the value of the ability, and then also get to make a bonus move action. Leading the Bladeborn warband is Daggok Finkstealer, a fairly solid fighter and pretty solid defensively as well. Daggok has the leader and warrior rune monks. The Warrior Rune Monk will give Daggok access to the Kruleboyz double ability called Venom Encrusted Weapons to boost up the damage of hits and critical hits. Meanwhile, the Leader Rune Monk will give him access to the Warband Steel in Your Thinks quad and the Kruleboyz quad ability as well, Cut and Attack, which if nearby Kruleboyz outnumber nearby enemies, you can make a free attack or move action with said nearby Kruleboyz. Jags the Bleeder is the first of our 3 fighters in the warband following Daggok. He has the Warrior Rune Monk like Daggok to give him access to Venom Encrusted Weapons, as well as the Frenzied Rune Monk for access to the Leave Your Bleeding ability for the warband. In melee he hits out with 4 attacks at an average strength of 3 and only with damage 1, however if he lands a critical hit it will do 5 damage instead. Defensively he's solid with 15 wounds and a toughness 4 as well. Herc the Howler, like the 2 fighters before, has the Warrior Rune Monk for access to Venom Encrusted Weapons. He also has the Icon Bearer Rune Monk for access to the triple Roar of Kragnos, while he also has some solid wounds and toughness as well, same as Jags before him. However, he does have a below average auric attack profile, mainly because he is carrying and playing a giant horn. Lastly in the warband is Grip the Hook. Because he lacks a shield, he does only have toughness 3, but like the others, he has 15 wounds. He has the Warrior Rune Monk like those before him as well, and the Brute Rune Monk for access to the Hook in Your Guts ability we've talked about before. In addition, he has a 2-inch reach, biting at a solid strength of 5, and doing quite decent damage at 3-4. The Swamp Cooler Shaman is the first fighter I'd bring into the force. Its Mystic Rune giving it access to the Summon Boggy Mist triple ability which can lower the attacks of nearby enemy fighters. You'll get a decently survivable fighter as well with toughness 4 and 25 wounds, along with access to leader abilities thanks to the Leader Rune Monk, a short range but powerful shooting attack like all wizards bring to the table in Warcry, and the ability to do more in combat than one might expect from a wizard with the Warrior Rune Monk there as well. Joining us next is the Pot Grot. This little goblin brewer only has a measly defense of 3 and 6 wounds, but he does have the Destroyer Rune Mark. This rune mark will give the model access to a triple ability called Brood Elixir, which can be used to do some substantial healing to friendly fighters. For the cheap points cost, he will prove either a great distraction for your opponent targeting him, or an excellent physician for your fighters. Next up, we add some range to the force with a man-skewer Bolt Boy. This fighter has 2 rune marks. First of all, the Warrior rune mark to boost the damage of its hits and critical hits even at range, and it also has a Trapper rune mark granting it access to another double ability called Aim Shot, which can only be used if the fighter has not made a move action, and during their next range attack action, they'll score critical hits on a 4+. Lastly, we have the Bolt Boy boss. This is the unit champion option of the man-skewer Bolt Boys. Like the model before, it has the same rune marks as the regular Bolt Boy, but will also gain the leader rune mark. It has an extra shot at range for 3 shots in total, all at a strength of 4 with a damage of 1/4, and the model also gets an extra 5 wounds for a total of 20. For our list today, we are obviously playing with the Kruleboyz. For our leaders, we have Daggok Fink Stealer, a Swamp Caller Shaman, and Bolt Boy Boss. For fighters, we have Jags the Bleeder, Herc the Howler, and Grak the Hook, all the members of the Stab Ladz. We then have another man-skewer Bolt Boy in here, and the Potgrot as well. If we're looking at splitting these models up into battle groups, Battle Group 1 is Daggok Fink Stealer with Herc and Grak in there as well, giving us a solid fighty warband. We then have the Swamp Caller Shaman accompanied by Jags the Bleeder as well. And lastly, we've gone for a couple of shooting models, with Bolt Boy Boss and the man-skewer Bolt Boy here, joined by the Potgrot to keep these fighters that are shooting nice and healed up if our opponent tries to target them. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below and we'll endeavour to get back to you. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and join our Discord server as well, linked in the video's description, for all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry content.